Khans of Tarkir introduces 5 new legends to Magic the Gathering, and as EDH players, it's normal to get a little bit excited when new legends hit the game. At Mythic Rarity, each one of them has caught some buzz, but just how good are these guys? Duel Commander is a great format, loaded with many interesting technical decks, but sometimes a person just wants to play duke it out with creature decks. If that's something that you might want to do, this next commander may be something you want to look at. The first Khans legend is Anafenza the Foremost. And before we go on, let's take a closer look at her. So Anafenza is a green, black, and white 4/4 that has 2 very interesting abilities. Her first ability says, whenever she attacks, you can put a +1/+1 counter on another tapped creature you control. Her second ability is where her true strength lies. It says, whenever a creature would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. It's interesting to point out though that Anafenza doesn't give +1/+1 counters to untapped creatures, meaning vigilance creatures won't get recognized by Anafenza, so keep that in mind when you build her. But why should you play her? Well, the main reason to play Anafenza would be to hose graveyard reanimator decks. Given her ability, you can see that a resolve turn 2 Anafenza would mean a world of hurt for reanimator strategies. Secondly is her power and toughness. She's a 4/4 for 3 mana, which at first glance seems to be amazing, but then when you take a closer look at her and think about how explosive Duel Commander is, that opinion may change a little bit. Because even though her second ability is amazing in one matchup, against everything else it just seems okay. Sure, you make your opponent's survival of the fittest a little less good in the aggro matchup, but other than that, it just doesn't really do anything. Also, her first ability is pretty low impact. Giving +1/+1 counters to tapped creatures you control isn't going to be that great, especially in the early game when you're giving +1/+1 counters to a Llanowar Elf or a Birds of Paradise. But with that being said, the game plan for Anafenza is pretty straightforward. Anafenza giving her abilities is going to be an aggro deck, so you pretty much want to get her out as fast as you can, load up the board with as many creatures as possible, and keep pumping them up with Anafenza as you swing in, and you just keep playing creatures and attacking until your opponent's dead. Pretty easy, right? So what I've done is I've listed an example deck in the description box down below. As far as aggro decks go, I think this one turned out pretty good, and I tried to really take full advantage of her +1/+1 ability, making it so that those counters actually matter by including cards like Hardened Scales and including the +1/+1 counter lords from Khans of Tarkir like Absent Falconer and Tuskguard Captain. So if you're interested in testing it, feel free to proxy it up and tell me what you think about it. Anyway guys, the Absent Clan's Anafenza is very interesting, and even though I'm not certain she will really make a splash in Duel Commander as of yet, she does have a very powerful ability, and if the time comes where Duel Commander starts getting overrun by graveyard reanimator type of strategies, you can bet that Anafenza will be right there at the forefront of taking those decks down. So I urge you guys to build her. She's perfect for newcomers to the format, and the Absent are just awesome. I mean, white, black, and green is a great color combination, with access to some of the best removal and overpowered enchantments that the format has to offer. But how good are the other clan legends? Until next time, keep shuffling, Magic players. Thanks for watching part 1 of my 5-part video for Khans of Tarkir. If you guys liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and follow me on Twitter for some behind the scenes of Force 4 Cards action. Anyway guys, sub to the channel for some more EDH videos, and if you want to check out another clan member, go ahead and click on their picture. See you later guys.